Yeah, I'll see you back here. I got blocked. That's fine. So thank you all for coming out, especially with the weather not being as crazy as like. My name is O'Dara Kell, Director of Community Affairs. This is Ashley Martinez, also with the Community Affairs Department. And I just want to welcome you to our Fall River Community Conversation. So Peter's going to facilitate, and we're going to just basically listen to you. And Lieutenant Governor's going to hear you guys have to say. So thank you again for coming.
So I killed the air so you could hear us, and now we're going to have fire engine stuff going by. Well, Lieutenant Governor, before you came, I kind of filled in some stuff, and I had just mentioned, I thanked everybody for coming. They're all people that absolutely give back to our community with the same goal to make things better, and I'm hoping they all have an opportunity to put their 2 cents in as far as what we feel we can get out of the state to make our place better. So I'm going to sit down and give it up to you. But thank you and welcome. How are you?
Peter, thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you, and I just want to make a few opening remarks and then have each one of you introduce yourselves, like why you're here, what organization you're from, and then we'll have our conversation. So today, I've had a great day. I had a great meeting midday with the business community, your chambers of commerce from Fall River to New Bedford, 200 business leaders coming together. Also had a chance to get over to Bristol Community College, where there was a ribbon cutting for a health and science building in the name of Sbrega, a community leader, obviously well known to you. And I spent some time with the mayor, your mayor, walking around in neighborhoods here in the city and seeing a lot of progress. I've had a chance to walk on the boardwalk where the World War II monument is, and the mill building that's now all market rate housing, and how the work and the construction activity on Route 79 is going to help connect neighborhoods in the city to the waterfront. Just a lot of good things happening. I stopped off at the Pink Bean for a nice coffee, get me through the rest of the afternoon, and then he brought me over to the Tequila Lime across the street. I didn't have a beverage there. Maybe later. But the point of it is I felt a lot of energy, felt a lot of commitment, a lot of people who really care about this community. And the purpose of the visit this afternoon is for me to be able to gauge and understand the safety net in this community. I do a lot of work for the governor and our team about community development. And we have, in our mind, sort of challenged ourselves. How are we going to make Massachusetts a better state from one end to the other? That means the Bristol County all the way to the islands and all the way to the Berkshires. And we figured out that the way to do this is to help every single community that makes up our Commonwealth. That's 351 cities and towns. Some are rural, some are suburban, some are west, some are east, some south, and north. Every community is different. Every community has different needs, has different challenges, has different assets and opportunities. And if in every community we can help figure out how to make sure that the schools are the best, that's a real opportunity for you to have the best school in your neighborhood to be able to go to, and then to climb that ladder up toward, whether it's community college or your college beyond that. To make sure that it's a community that offers jobs, so that the next generation, these kids, have an opportunity to find their career, begin their work life in the community in which they grew up. I think that's a true measure of success in the community, when that next generation has the opportunity to lay their roots and begin their lives on their own. And what's really important that will really bind us together as a Commonwealth is that safety net, the health and wellness and safety in a community. We have so many challenges in this state: opioid addiction, heroin addiction, is tearing apart lives, tearing apart families and communities. There are issues that stem from homelessness, to domestic violence, sexual assault, a lot of different issues and challenges that we are all confronted with. But what I need to understand today in our conversation is what your safety net looks like. Who makes up this safety net? And how can we, as your partner in state government, strengthen your safety net so that people have a chance, have an opportunity for a successful and good quality of life here in the city. So I'm going to turn it over to you for our conversation. And I don't know if we could put some of our youngest members among us on the spot to offer up what this experience here at the Boys and Girls Club means to you, to your families. I've been fortunate enough to be able to work with the Boys and Girls Club across the Commonwealth who have hosted these conversations for our administration, and we value the work that we do. So with that, I'm going to sit, and is there anyone here, part of your group? I see you have orange shirts on, so you look very important to me. Tell me about what's happening in the summertime here at Boys and Girls Club. It has to be safe, clean, and most of all, fun, right? So,
3 things that I mentioned,
so tell me about the fun part.
We had so much fun with the kids. The kids are awesome. I mean, they can definitely wear it out. My voice is a little hoarse just from singing songs with the kids. You know, we sing songs on the bus and we sing songs. Today was raining, so we sang a couple songs with the kids. Just really shouting, having a lot of fun with them. But we're in the prevention business, like he usually says. We want to prevent injuries. We want to prevent things happening to kids and stuff like that. And we want to create a safe environment for them to continue to play. And to have fun, of course, you know. So, yeah, I think that.
Yeah, like you said, we do a lot of things with the kids. We have different activities like foursquare soccer, arts and crafts. I've been at arts and crafts this whole week, so we've been doing Mario Karts. And at the end of the week, we'll have a race with them, and you know, different things. We have different things each week, so the kids like that. And we have water week, we have fitness week. Kids just like to, most of them like to go swimming a lot.
Yeah,
And they always love running up to go to canteen, which is just snacks, and they get juice and icicles when it's hot.
So she's talking about, Lieutenant Governor, they're talking about our summer camp. So we own a summer camp 10 miles up Route 24.
Okay.
And in 10 minutes, 6 buses will pull in and unload 300 kids. So they're kind of talking about their experiences as staff members and junior staff members.
I'm actually a staff this year.
I'm sorry.
You know what, can't count.
I still get called the junior staff. This is my first year as a staff member, so it's...
Julie noted. What about the stuff you do here at the club also during the school year, Bianca?
Well, I'm up here because I'm in high school. I'm going to my junior year. And a lot of times up here, like I'm a very active member of Keystone, which is a community service club that we have here. And I have a blast. And on Friday nights, we do like a Friday night special with the kids. So we like all go downstairs and have like an activity for them to do, like bingo or some gym game. And I think it's so fun, especially in the holidays when we do like Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas dinner, helping out and seeing kids with their families.
Okay, so what do I do there? I've been going here for around 10 years, and yeah, for a while. And I don't know, I've grown a lot here. It's really been the place that I grew up really. I don't know, it's really coming from Fall River. Is it, you know, Fall River is a city where not a lot of things happen unless you make them happen. And you know, I grew up here, and I don't know, the staff always were like the role models for me. And you know, I always look up to them, and all the staff that they hire are usually positive people that usually positively affect the kids here. And they really changed, I don't know, I consider myself when I was younger to be a punk along those lines. And you know, I didn't really like to listen, but the staff here were the exact opposite. And you know, you like to be your own, like your role models. So, you know, I changed my actions, I guess you could say. And I became more of a respectable adult, and I think that most adults that I meet like me, and I think that's largely due to the fact that I come here, and I've been affected by all the people that worked here, and that transcended into when I became a high school student or 8th grade. That's when you're allowed up here, and then I then can do the same things that happen to me with the little kids because we interact with them on different occasions. Depending on what happens, whatever.
What are you in school before each one of you? Where are you in?
I go to Durfee, I'm a senior. I'll be a senior.
Senior.
Yeah, Durfee.
I'm going to graduate here.
You see you will be graduating in another year.
Yeah, we graduate.
What do you think your next steps will be?
I'm thinking about, I really want to be a minister. I want to go to Bible college, but I'm also thinking about going to business school as well, probably let's say school, like PMAS school.
Some of the best state colleges,
Yes, we
universities,
do. Yes,
right
we
here in
do.
Massachusetts.
Yes, we do, yes.
And you're thinking ahead.
Oh, yeah, I
Senior.
am.
So what are you thinking is your next step?
One of my biggest passions is art, so I go to the art room a lot when I come to the club. So I'm thinking about going to UMass Dartmouth for art classes, but I'm still not sure on what I want to do in the art field.
Okay, that's great. You have a little time to think about this.
Yeah. I try to talk to people about going to college and they're like too young, so.
Oh, I still talk to people about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I need ambitions. That's why I keep my grades up. I don't know.
Keeping the grades
Who
up.
are you kids? This is great. Thank God we picked the right kids.
That's why I like starting with them, because this is why you're all here.
Yeah.
And you're doing your part
Yeah.
by being here, making good decisions or better decisions than you were making before. And for each one of you to want to be a role model to someone else coming up through is really incredible. So congratulations for your success today.
Good job.
So could I just transition to you to introduce yourself and so that we can all know who each other is? You probably all know, it's more about it for me.
My name is Joan Medeiros. I'm Vice President of the board here at the Boys and Girls Club. I've been on this board about 12 years at this point. Previously been treasurer and active in a bunch of other community activities in addition to the club. So I get to see it from a whole spectrum.
My name is Christian McCluskey. I'm the Youth Services Coordinator for the City of Fall River. In that capacity, I'm the Grant Coordinator for the Shannon and SSYI grants.
Excellent.
And I'm also an adult member of the Senior Division.
Every morning, 6 o'clock.
That's great. Thank you.
I'm Michaela Gagny-Hetzler. I'm a licensed mental health counselor and adjustment counselor at Diamond Regional High School. And I'm also the Fall River Youth Violence Prevention Coordinator through the Shannon Grant.
Dave Sullivan, Executive Director of the Fall River Housing Authority.
We served together when
Our offices are other youth.
both served in the House of Representatives for 10 years.
Great to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Joseph De Silva, Family Youth Service Coordinator for the Fall River Housing Authority.
Okay, my name is Ramona Turgat. I'm with Family Service Association. We have 16 programs, so I'm not going to talk about them all, just mine. The mentoring program, which is Big Friends, Little Friends, and I really liked it when I heard role models.
Maria Ferrer-Bedard. I'm the Executive Director of SARE Jobs for Progress here in Fall River, and we're a community-based organization, and we offer adult basic education, high-set preparation classes, job development, job placement.
Victor Tavares, Associate Director at St. Jobs for Progress. And we also have a program to help the displaced workers as well as those that find themselves in the unfortunate situation of being homeless, which is a big problem that needs to be solved once and for all, not only in Massachusetts but throughout the U.S.
Thank you.
Shelby Rosenberg with Lieutenant Governor Polito's office.
Hi, I'm John Feidelberg. I'm the president of Hub International, insurance brokerage firm in Fall River, and I'm a board member here at the club.
Thank you.
Bob Bogan, president of Board in Remington, business in Fall River, and board member here at the Boys and Girls Club as well.
Bill Kiley, the Finance Director at the Boys and Girls Club.
Christina 78, intern at the LG's office.
I'm Stephen Dorney. I'm a board member here. I'm also co-chair of the Stay in School Committee here, which includes a graduation coach, and I also am a member of the senior division here.
Tierney Flaherty with Bentry Associates. We represent the Massachusetts Alliance of Boys and Girls Clubs.
Bill Perkins, CEO at People Incorporated, a human service organization in southeastern Mass.
I'm Anne-Marie Sawyer, Director of Educational Achievement for the Fall River YMCA. We're doing academic programs for kids to extend their learning day, designed to close the achievement gap for our low-income kids.
I'm Fern Roy. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of the Fall River Public Schools.
I'm Marsha Picard. I'm the School Wellness Coordinator for Greater Fall River Partners for a Healthier Community, which is the Greater Fall River Chana, if you're familiar with Chana.
Very good, thank you.
Hi, I'm Anne-Marie Holly. I'm the Youth Leadership Specialist at Greater Fall River Recreation, which is a nonprofit recreation center in the city. We do after-school programming for young people. We have an outreach program servicing. We run the Summer Lunch in the Park program during the summer out of Project Bread and Dusty, so we're very active in the community. Oh, we have a sailing program as well that we just started this year. It used to be run out of Battleship Cove, and we've kind of taken over the sailing program as well.
Hello, my name is Raymond Gove. I'm with Greater Fall River Recreation also. I'm the program coordinator for the SSYI program.
Hello, my name is Ron Luce, and I am a real estate officer in Fall River. I'm a board of director, but I'm also a member of this Boys and Girls Club 45 years ago. Peter was still here.
And here too.
I've been there from 6 to 16, and I'm dying to tell you how important this organization is to the city.
Thank you.
I'm Jamie Karam. I'm a local businessman, but also the board president.
Congratulations, Jamie. All right, so let's begin our conversation. Thank you all for coming. I think the best approach is for me to understand what's working here in the community, what we need to do more of. I think I understand what the answer could be, starting right there with you. And what are the biggest challenges to our youth and the people who you serve? And how can we try to bring more attention to resolving those challenges? Would you like to start?
Sure. I'll start. I'm 51 years old. When I was 6, I was coming here to the Boys and Girls Club. I lived in Hillside Manor, one of the toughest little projects in Fall River. And I can tell you the difference. I am able to go from there to owning my own business, owning 130 apartments in the city, and giving people homes from everybody else that I live with is either dead, drugs, or in jail. This place was a difference between me making it and not making it. I can't stress that how important this Boys Club was to me.
Okay.
I mean that wholeheartedly.
I'm sure you do, and you're giving it back.
Yeah. This is a difference. This is with Peter when he says like, oh, you give this donation. What they gave to me to get me off the streets and become the person I am, I could never do that.
How do we get more kids here? Right? Not every kid makes that choice.
Yeah, it starts with the parents. There's no doubt my parents are very tough. They both work, so this is where we kind of lived after school. This is what we were brought up in. Peter, John, Al Correa, who was his boss years ago, several other people have made an impact on my life, so I can make impact on other people's lives.
So, representing the Fall River Public Schools, we do have great partnerships with YMCA and the Boys Club, but we have over 10,000 students, right? So that's the question, is the impact. So internally, we have embraced this idea of positive youth development in a variety of ways. It's actually part of our strategic accelerated improvement plan at the district level. It's just as important to us as the academic piece. So we've done what we can in terms of enrichment after-school program and the coordination of this. So for example, ELT, extended learning time, has been a very positive influence for us because it not only gives teachers more time to teach, but it also gives us time to get students in positive things that engage each other collaboratively, and they begin to ignite and find their passion. So the challenge obviously is with the budget, right? With the foundation review coming up, with rising costs, we had to cut about 3.7% of our budget this year to obtain level services because the city said they can't meet more than 100% net school spending. So our ELT programs, some of that went away, right? So because of our fiscal constraints, you know, we're trying to hold on to the minimum, but that stuff which we know, exactly what you said, how important that is to the youth of the city, we have to eliminate because of budget constraints. So obviously, I'm sure you know that that's a challenge here.
So we need more kids to be involved while in school. I mean, for you while you're in school, you have the opportunity to study and get good grades, but a lot of that success comes from the support you get outside of school. Being here after school, weekends, being in a safe environment so that you can have that choice, I would say. What happens after these formal? So you graduate, your choices are to go on to college or not, you do military. Okay. So what happens at that point in a young person's life if they don't choose the military, they don't choose to go on to college? What are the choices? What are the jobs? What is the path?
I would say you're either networking with people, trying to find a local job that pays you enough to support yourself and your family, if you have one, or you're going to be stuck at a low-end minimum wage job. Going to BCC is not bad, but if you're not going to college, if you didn't take that, I don't know where you would.
Okay. So I guess we can focus on that as well, what the transition is for the graduates in our community. We talked about mentors.
We have found, I've been doing this 26 years, and I have found that when a mentor is with a little and they go with them until they graduate from high school, the child will go to either the military or higher education. Every child in 26 years who has had a mentor and has gone to graduated high school, they have gone beyond. Whether it's 2-year, 3-year, 3-year, I'm old, 4-year for the military or a technical school. They have ideas that they want to grow because we all know you cannot live on minimum wage as an adult.
So is there a fair amount of guidance in the schools and in these programs to help you make that decision?
At the Boys Club, of course. Yeah, when you come to the Boys and Girls Club, man, this environment it makes it a lot easier for you to succeed because you have a team center, you have people here that care about you, that want you to succeed, that give you the opportunity to succeed. So the Boys and Girls Club is the place to be as far as wanting to succeed and go to college and have a really successful life, you know. So I would say that an opportunity here is a place where you want to be.
But it's so tough. You know, we have good youth serving agencies, the YMCA, CDREC, and there are opportunities. But once the kids, if they lose the desire to be in school and start to flounder, they miss school, and all of a sudden they're 1 year behind or 2 years behind, they find themselves quitting. Then what happens to them? I think that's the question. Like, we read about them. No, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to read about them in the court news. We all do it to see if we know these kids, and it's unfortunate. And those are the ones that so-called, everybody says they fall through the cracks. We want them to stay at the clubs. These, you know, when kids get to be, we find at the club, and I'm sure the Y and T-Rec, when they get to be juniors and seniors, they either get it, unfortunately, or it's hard to teach them that. You know, some of them, education is just, we can't, I know, Fran, it's hard, but they just don't get it. I mean, they're like, oh, I don't need it. You know, I have my phone or this or that, and it's hard to keep them on track. When they're at the club or at another organization, it's good to have them. Go ahead, Ron.
It's tough because I grew up in the project, so I don't even remember thinking about going to college. I knew my mother couldn't afford it. I know I didn't want to go in debt for it, so I just went out there and worked as hard as I could to really get as much. And you know, I never had that college opportunity. My second sister went into college. She graduated with a 4-year term from it was SMU and I think it was SMU.
It was.
Yeah, SMU. So she did that, and she come out with a lot in school loans. I mean, it held her down for a while. Now she's fortunate that, you know, she's done well in life too. But I think when you think of somebody like us, that and in this economic, what we're worth, it's tough for us to think about going to college and spending money and not making money because we can't burden our parents, and that's the way I felt it. And now my children have gone through college and have taken care of it, and I see the difference it makes in you, and I wish I would have done it.
Yeah, we hear a lot from the employers in this area as well, that there is a gap, so workforce skills gap. So especially those in manufacturing, they need kids to graduate with skills that can go directly onto employment. So there are choices. Not every student has to go to college to begin their work life, and that there are connections that we can make through our voc tech schools, our career schools. We're investing in equipment in our technical schools, the very equipment that exists in the workplace, so the kids can learn hands-on right there at school how to operate both the manual machines and these CNC machines that are more technical in nature to use. And then that skill right there that you learn in high school is so valuable to employers right here in this community. You can go directly on to employment, work, and begin that part of it, and then maybe go on to school and get an advanced degree beyond that as needed. Are there those types of connections that you're making here in the community?
At Diamond, we have a very strong co-op program, and we are making those connections. I feel very well.
In Durfee as well?
I mean, I was part of a culinary, so I mean, like if you stay in the program for 4 years, then I feel like you're very well prepared. Speaking from one section of it, like culinary is very, I don't know, I feel like if I started the program, I was going to be very well prepared to go into either become a chef or something along those lines, or going to like Johnson Wales, for example, and pursuing that. I left the program due to too many classes that wouldn't, the schedule was weird, so I took too many APs that wouldn't switch, and they wouldn't go together, but if I just did the program, I feel like I would have been prepared.
That happened to me with the health assistant program. I'm taking too many APs, so I can't stick with it. So,
smart. You're trying to do the right thing, and it's working against you?
Yeah, it's kind of hard. And I think it's the scheduling now that has to do with like the 5. You changed from, what was it, 7 periods? 7 periods to 5 periods. So it's kind of like tricky to get everything in your schedule. But I feel like I would be very prepared because they would give you a volunteering job your senior year at St. Anne's, and then you could go on from St. Anne's to be a CNA. So I think it prepares you well enough. But
those are good connections to make. Is there a way to identify students or youth in our community here that are at risk, and then target them with special
I know it. It's been really involved is the bridge class in Derby High School. I remember I used to go every 2 weeks and mentor 13 or 14 kids they never showed up. They were just very challenging kids. And we sat down with them it was almost 2 years, and some were in gang violence, there was some issues there. And it would save 2 or 3 of them. The other 14 just didn't want to catch on, but by giving them, I'd go over how to do a job interview. I'd go over how to do a checkbook. I'd go over all little items, how to set goals, and how to be positive, things like that. And I set little rewards for them where they could win a Dunkin' Donuts gift card, which was a thrill for them. And that class, there was 4 or 5 instructors that were fantastic on here, and that's how one of them asked me to come in and do a couple classes, and I loved it. And I just stood on for 2 years, but I think it's disappeared. I'm not sure if it's still there or not.
So I was at Durfee 5 years before Diamond. In terms of identifying the kids, I think it comes out about different ways. Maybe a guidance counselor is working with a certain student or adjustment counselor, and then they're referring them for additional services or placing them in different programs. That was specifically a special education program. In behavioral, in a sense, program at Durfee created a small school within a school that was very successful for some students. So it was one.
We're fortunate to have too is
is that whether it's the housing or the Y or CB Rec, we're connected with the schools. So we can all make that connection where this kid's in danger of dropping out. What can you do? Oh, well, there's alternatives. You know, it's not that one size fit all. I'm sorry to speak for him, but there's different opportunities. I know our team director sees it all the time. This kid doesn't like getting up early or whatever. You guys know it. And all right, well, you can go to this program where the goal is
Be successful.
Yeah.
Set them up for success.
And we're fortunate because the people in this room can reach out to one another and find this child. Not going to help everybody.
So is this room a group that meets on some consistent or regular basis, or is this a
They're all
so that you sort of know this one is in trouble, but if we connect
Collaboration in the city is outstanding. And I think when we see an issue, I think we're very responsive to it. I really feel that way. A lot of us are on so many different committees and task forces together that's like, oh, what are we at today, you know? One example is, we saw a need for a suicide prevention coalition. We started that. I can't tell you the leaps and bounds it's made in just months. That's one example. Something I can speak to, I guess, on the youth perspective that I think is a huge struggle right now, however. We have outstanding mental health services in the city, but we don't have enough. So we're identifying kids, we're saying that they need help, we're referring, and they're looking at a 6-month waiting list right now to get individual counseling. And there's families that are willing to get the services that are, able to provide that. So I think that's a huge challenge. Another huge challenge in the city right now.
Has that changed over the course of this past year or 2 years? Is there a trend?
I think it was about the same a year or two ago. I would say it's kind of getting worse. And I mean, we do see some of the mental health issues of the adults rising in the city. So I'm not, optimistic that this is just like a bump in the road. I think the other piece too is specifically substance abuse services for adolescents. Right now, we were lucky that Durfee was able to pilot a great program through STAR. It was able to handle a small group of kids, but we don't have somewhere to refer anyone under 18 years old. STAR is outstanding, but if they're not 18, we're stuck with individual counseling where substance abuse is a specialty. I know with Sbrega coming and all these other mandates, it's great. We're going to identify all these kids, but then we don't have anywhere to send them. That's really giving them those specialized services for substance abuse. So that's my 2 cents, but really the adolescents need more support and mental health overall, but substance abuse as well.
Does anyone want to speak to that issue? Yes?
Yeah, I would like to address, if I may, the other side of the spectrum. Yes, we do have in Fall River and not so much in the surrounding towns, a very low success rate in the public school, i.e. Graduating from high school. But on the other hand, our community, which is a great place to live, Fall River, Somerset, Swansea, is also suffering from a brain drain. We have lots of young people that graduate from area colleges, area universities, and then after that, there are no job opportunities. And so, since I have been in this country, which was in 1966 when I came, and the governor then was Governor Volpe, if I'm not mistaken, Republican, Italian. Even then, Volpe, and since then, all Democratic administration, all Republican administrations have been promising connectivity with the train to the Boston area. And I feel that if we had that, our young people that have graduated from Providence College, from UMass Dartmouth, from Stonehill, etc., they would stay here, but because there are no job opportunities, they have to go somewhere else. But if there was that connectivity, that commuter train, we would have them stay put in our communities. So my question is, when are we going to have that connectivity with Boston? Because to be honest with you, we feel in this part of the state closer to Providence than to Boston, because there is a good connectivity, transportation-wise, but not with Boston.
Well, I think everyone in this room agrees that the best social program is a job. You know, if you have access to a good job to start, learn how to work, start working, and then have a ladder of opportunity. I mean, that is essential to a strong community and a strong region. That's why our economic development plans are not centered on Boston. Boston is booming. Boston has so much activity. It doesn't need the attention that an area like this in our state needs, or where I'm from, in central Massachusetts, or western Massachusetts, where I also spend a lot of time. We're focused on the more challenging areas in our state to bring that kind of opportunity to it. The opportunity grows when you have a workforce that's rightly skilled. That's why we're investing a lot in education and equipment grants and voc tech schools and the schools that you're representing right here in this room. You graduate kids with the right skills, employers will grow and be here. And you know, look at Amazon. There's an example. They came here. You had incredible collaboration between the Career Center, Bristol Community College, Durfee, and Durfee and Diamond. And
Gotta project now.
you came together over the course of this past week and held 4 events for the 500 jobs that Amazon needs to fill. And you did an incredible thing right there to show that you can collaborate and you have people with the right skills to fill those jobs. That's one piece. That whole workforce development piece is something that our administration is working very hard on. Taking our education secretary, our labor and workforce secretary, and our economic development secretary working together to help create this pipeline of skilled people that can drive the economy. You also have your coastal assets here. You have natural assets in this region that need to be leveraged for more jobs. The fishing industry here, the port industry, cargo shipments that come through, and then of course your tourism and other activity that's here. We're also looking to work with the mayor on having the right type of housing here in the city. I say market rate housing is important because that also will attract a young professional who can't afford to live in Boston, but might love to live in this area of the state because they have all these beautiful natural assets to enjoy on the waterfront. They can get a great apartment or place to live here in this city, and great restaurants and places to go to. They can have a good quality of life. Let's talk about the train. So I think there's 2 things that need to happen. First of all, the connection to Boston is important as a 2-way trip. Important for people in Boston. They want to get on a train and visit this area because of what you offer here on the coastline. That's important. And if someone wants to take a train for 77 minutes to an hour and a half to get to Boston for a job, I suppose that could be an option too. But it shouldn't be the only option for someone to have a good job to earn a living in. It can be an option. I think that both need to be done. Growing the local economy, so you have good jobs locally for people to work at, and then the connectivity to Boston is just another sort of asset that you will have. For 2 decades, this Commonwealth has been talking about the connection to Boston. Our administration has analyzed the issue, just like we analyzed the issue of the Green Line extension over the summer. Rather than just blindly going forward and let's start it and hope it all works, let's make sure that we're making the right decisions. So what we did was we analyzed this connection, the South Coast Rail connection to Boston. The analysis of the current design says that that is going to be closer to $3.5 billion to build the train as currently designed. So we said, let's look at, and it was going to take 15 to 20 years before that whole system of railway would become a reality. That's too far off into the future. We all know that. So we took a look at what's called the Middleborough option, which takes the existing track up to that area, exists, and then the build would be to connect it to another track that exists going up to Boston. And we were able to think about the Boston connection, and with a short piece of tunnel, we'd be able to connect that line into Boston for a lot less in terms of dollar investment and a lot less time to make that connection. So we want to see this connection happen sooner than later, and we want to put that option back out there for the community stakeholders to have that dialogue with us. So we're looking to work with everyone to do that. I think it has to be both ways. It has to be a homegrown economy here. We've got momentum. We've got people that care about this city. But nothing more than these people right here to motivate us all to work for this to happen. And then think about the connection to Boston too at the same time. Yes.
I'll stand up in the back. On the point that you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with, and Ron Luce makes a great point about the people that impacted him at the Boys and Girls Club. Everybody here, they're all in the people business. And a lot of these organizations all have boards that they work with and they coordinate with. And those boards give their time, their talent, their treasure because they believe in what these people are doing. My biggest fear as a board member of the Boys and Girls Club is losing any of my staff. Because that's a huge void I don't want to see, and I bet everybody else can say the same thing here. So what is the state going to do to keep funding the Boys and Girls Club and not cut it? Because, in all fairness to Pete and Bill, women make a great leadership group here at this Boys and Girls Club. They have great drivers and they help out these kids. For us to lose staff, they don't make an impact and they don't get a chance like on Ron and stuff. We want to keep our staff, so what can the state do to keep funding it and not cutting it so we can keep our people?
So we obviously all have care about the work that's done here. I wouldn't be here if I didn't value this program. The governor also values this program, and we know that it works. And we will continue to commit state dollars to programs like this because they work. We also need the private sector to also contribute to organizations like this. It cannot be all subsidized by state, federal, local government. It's a partnership. We're very grateful that you have board members like yourself here an awful lot to do the necessary fundraising for maintenance, operation, and programming that's necessary. We have to do it together. No question, the budget at the state level is constrained. We started off the discussions for this fiscal year thinking we were going to have 4.3% of growth in revenues over last year. The reality is revenues are declining, and we are budgeting next year on 2.8% growth. So we're balancing budgets, we're setting priorities. We didn't cut any aid to the local communities and to schools. In fact, we funded local aid to the cities and towns at 4.3%, even though the adjustment in the budget went down to 2.8%. So there's a lot that needs to be considered, trying to make sure that we're doing all of this, making the reforms, making good decisions, running an efficient government without overtaxing the people and businesses here in our Commonwealth. It is a balancing act, and we're very sensitive to it.
We have about 5 more minutes, so if we can do 2 more questions before we go for the Lieutenant Governor.
In terms of at-risk youth and being a board member here, I think Peter's point that when kids get here, if they can stay here, there's a great chance that they can be successful. I think one of the things that I see, or it's on my wish list, is that if you live in this neighborhood or you live with someone who can drive you here, you can get here. But there are lots of kids in this city that can't get here. And transportation is expensive, and I know that, but some type of assistance to provide transportation so that kids can get here and then can get back home safely is something that I think as a board member concerns me. And I know the club used to be open Monday nights, and then it went into a fundraising mode with bingo, and that ended. And we haven't been able to open on Monday nights. Kids still have needs on Monday nights. And I wouldn't want to tax the staff here any more than they do now, because people work hard and they work long. But I know some clubs are open Sundays, and I think Sunday morning needs to be family time and all the things that people do. But seasonally, some Sunday afternoons, I think you're looking to get kids off the street in productive activities. And I think those are things as a board member that are on my wish list.
Can anyone speak to the transportation issue?
Karen, I'd like to just say that the transportation issue from the perspective of the Housing Authority and the youth in the Housing Authority, because we are a large housing authority, it's a real challenge to get the kids out of the development. One of the things that we've done is not only the partnership with the Boys Club that has been invaluable, and I'd like to emphasize that as much for those kids that are living in the housing authority. But it's almost like it seems like they're trapped within developments. One of the things we also did internally is start a summer program where the focus was to get them out of the developments and let them go see some of the great things that are just here regionally. I mean, we take kids out to the bioreserve, which is here in Fall River in the region, and they feel like they're out in New Hampshire. They've never seen anything like it, and it's absolutely amazing to see that kids don't see things like this. So that goes into another part, is the messaging that they also are hearing, even within the developments or problem households that sometimes we run into. The messaging that they hear is that nothing's going to end. What we're trying to do is focus on the messaging that, look, public housing is temporary. It's a life raft. But it's also those linkages that makes all the difference in the world for them to feel that there is a step to move forward. Education, recreation, building relationships, participating just in general, and not to feel like they're isolated. So that's one of the big challenges that I see. And when Steve mentioned transportation, I just said, wow, you know, that is a big nut.
Pops up in every conversation we have in a meeting. It's affordable transport. These kids, to get to Durfee, they have to take 2 buses. If they live in the other end of the city, it's 2 buses, and how much is it? $2?
Well, it depends. If you get free lunch, then they pay for it. If you don't, then you have to
I already get home on the bus. I take the bus home some days, and it takes a long time. And all of that is really crowded. Really
Okay,
crowded.
are those the buses that are running the school system, or those
No,
the
they're city
RTA?
buses.
For the high school, it is public busing. We don't provide the school. We do give kids, I don't know what you guys get.
Yeah.
A trolley pass for the high school. But our transportation budget is humongous, which cuts into the regular school budget.
So does the RTA system have limited?
It's archaic, first of all. The hours have not changed in years. And the times are goofy. You know, we close at 9:30 at night. Oh, gotta take a bus. But for all of us, it's not just the club. It's hard. And it's hard to get that conversation going with sort of.
Okay, that's very good feedback. Thank you.
I mean, if I could just add my 2 cents in, I think absolutely the transportation issue affects, every agency that's trying to help families in this community, particularly the poorest families, who may not have cars. A lot of our programs, adult basic education programs, take place in the evening. Folks have to get there, especially in the winter. They get there, it's dark, they leave, it's dark, they have to get across the city. Some of them bring their children with them, and it's very difficult to feel confident that they're going to safely be able to come to our services and get home.
There's a definite barrier to
absolutely.
Connection to opportunity, whether it's for youth programs, for education?
If I had to
or for
prioritize
jobs?
the barriers, I think I would prioritize that one number one, absolutely.
And number 2 would be childcare,
Yes,
lack of childcare.
yes, for the younger kids, yes.
Is there a consensus around that childcare gap?
Well, I would say that there certainly isn't enough of it. Our agency runs income-eligible preschool, but it's certainly limited in terms of its capacity. But I would say in general that early education public and saying that less than half of the kids that actually that are going to kindergarten have actually had a preschool experience, and so I think it starts there in terms of the potential for deficit, and there needs to be a lot more focus on how we approach young children and the services that we provide to them in this community to get them successful from the get-go as they enter school.
One more question on transportation. You're raising an issue about transportation in the city, right? And then is there also a challenge, yet an opportunity for the connection beyond the city for buses to say New Bedford or to other hubs of employment? That whole network needs to be strengthened.
I think we need to acknowledge what the barriers are to them.
Yes.
If you're talking poorer communities or poorer people, it's tough for them to take a bus to New Bedford or to take that experience to Boston, go to the State House and see.
I mean, we're talking about
things
connecting
like
to
that.
Boston, we just need to connect the region
Yeah.
as well. That's important.
So can we make it the last question, and then we have to transition?
Okay, I think we would be remiss if we didn't mention something to you of which you are probably not aware, and there may be people in this room who are not aware as well. But in terms of supporting students and making sure that they succeed in school and in life, in the middle of last month, the gentleman over there in the plaid shirt, Christian McCluskey, and I went to Denver, Colorado to represent Fall River in the All-America City competition. And this year's theme was ensuring that all children succeed in school and in life. We were asked to pick 3 initiatives, and we picked positive youth development, has a familiar ring to it, the Parent Academy, which is all about family engagement, and the Attendance Task Force, which is all about getting the students to school every day on time. There were 20 finalists across the nation, and they selected 10 All-America cities, and Fall River was one of the 10 chosen. So, in the light of all of the challenges that we're talking about here, I think we all need to reassure ourselves that we are doing things to make things happen. There were only 5 of us that went. Christian and I went, and we went with 3 young adults, people in their 20s, telling their stories about how they were raised by the river and the kind of success that they had and that they are now giving back. One has just gotten her degree as a pharmaceutical doctor. One is a teacher in the Fall River school system, and one is a young gentleman who was going down the wrong path and ended up working for Youth Build, giving back, mentoring over 100 young people now. And there were people that came to us afterwards, even though there were only 5 of us. All the other 19 had 25, 30, 35 people. There were people that came to us after our 10-minute presentation before a panel of 12 judges that said that they liked ours the best because we told stories. We had people who would genuinely come in through the system. So again, although we get discouraged, and I know we have lots of challenges, we're doing good things. And never mind that other 5 that we saw in the paper, that other 5th ranking. We were one of 10 communities in the country to have been recognized as an All-America city for supporting our young people. And I think we need to celebrate those successes instead. Obviously, facing that we have challenges to face and we have to overcome them. But we do good things here, and once in a while we need to pat ourselves on the back. And so we just did.
Good job,
Absolutely, I can't second that enough, and I agree. Telling that story about being an all-American city is a real good and strong one, and you earned it, right? That
The
was
only
a
one in
competition.
Massachusetts, actually 2 in New England, Bridgeport, Connecticut, and us, but the rest were up the West Coast and big cities, Las Vegas, that they didn't win, we did. But, yeah, it's reassuring, and I think, again, every so often, I think we need to say, we do good stuff, and we need to celebrate the good things.
It will be positive.
Everybody has everyone's back.
Yes.
Right, we play very nicely together. We've always said this in Fall River, and I'm sorry for those of you who've heard this before, but I used to work for an organization that covered 72 cities and towns throughout southeastern Massachusetts, the Cape and the Islands, and I said if I ever worked in one community, it would be Fall River because of the way people play very nicely together.
Well, that's leadership. That's having an awful lot of respect for one another and
Absolutely.
Willingness to share. And we're all here, obviously, in this room for that purpose. And again, I think I started off by saying that the true measure of success for all of us is when that next generation has a chance, a successful chance here to do what you choose to do, what you dream of doing in your own lives. So I will join you in promoting the fact that this is an all-American city, and you've earned that great title. And I will promote that in my talk and discussions in the circles that I travel in. Someone else had a comment here?
I was just I was going to bring up something quickly. Just on like budget, I think the state's only, we do a public raising funds more than we get from the state, so that's how we run a business. But one of the things we mentioned, how you make a minimum wage increase and how it costs our budget $40,000. And it's not like we're hiring people who are going to raise a family. We're talking about 16 and 17-year-olds. I know we would get a waiver at Camp Welch, but something, certain organizations should be allowed to get a waiver because it's crippling us. We raised $40,000 3 years in a row.
I think, we should, it's a matter of topic for this group to think about beginning wages, youth wages, training wages, earning wages to help learning, to learn how to work is a discussion worth having, and would need an awful lot of advocacy from stakeholders like you to see that type of wage exist here in the Commonwealth. But I've heard that a lot in my conversations like this throughout the state, that kind of earning wage, that youth wage, would be helpful to not only employers, but mostly to you to begin to work.
And ultimately let us hire more.
Yes.
And we're not hiring because we just can't afford it.
Yes, I've heard that a lot. And was there another comment here? No? Okay. I just want to say thank you for beginning this conversation. This is not just a visit, a one-off to come here and to say hello to you. That we're now 18 months into our administration. We've established some a solid footing on which to stand, and it is our goal to work throughout the Commonwealth to strengthen that safety net. And I thank you for your choice of work, for choosing to volunteer, to be part of this whole safety network that's important to this community's future. And that we're not going anywhere. We're here to partner with you and to work with you and to support the things that are working here in the city. So you will see us again, and that's where Dashery and Dari will take the discussion now to talk about email information and how we stay connected, how we can share information with you, and how you can give us feedback about things that we need to be focusing on so that we can stay connected to your circle, to your network. And I thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much.